Hi friends, thank you for joining me today. I am Janice. Welcome to The Right Way. Today I'm going to talk about um, making a quilt just using basic items. So my husband and I, we were going on a trip where we would be out of town in a hotel for a couple of days. And on the way there, I said I wanted to make a quilt, and I didn't want to do any of the fancy stuff like rotary cutting, machine sewing, or anything like that. I just wanted to be very basic. So I went to Walmart and I bought some fat quarters in this fat quarter bundles of this fabric here, which I think is so pretty. I know there is people have a lot to say about Walmart fabric, but when you're quilting on a budget, Walmart fabric is just as good in a pinch. So I bought the fat quarter bundles. I bought 2 fat quarter bundles of these fabrics, and I bought this little sewing kit from Walmart as well, which includes scissors, thimble, which I should be using but don't, thread, needles, and everything you could need. It has 2 marking pens, and I bought a ruler, and I use the marking pens and the ruler to make this quilt. All right, so I always remind myself that the pioneers of quilting did not have rotary cutters, they did not have cutting mats, and they didn't have fancy rulers, and yet they made it happen. And so every now and then I try to go back to a simpler way of quilting. And so I got the fabric, and when I was growing up, I always saw my mom just tearing the fabric. And so I thought, well, when you tear the fabric, you get a very straight line. So I measured with the pencil and the ruler, and I cut the fabric like this, and then I just tore it. And you get a straight cut because it tears along the grain. And then I took these smaller ones that I cut, I measured, and I tore them into little rectangles and started sewing the rectangles together. Now, this project I've been working on it for several months. I've sewn rectangles together and short rectangles and long rectangles together. And now I'm putting 2 of those parts together, and I want to show you what it looks like so far. So this is what it looks like so far. I am now sewing these 2 pieces together. Now there are some challenges along the way with sewing. Sometimes the measurements were not as accurate as I could get them with using a rotary cutter, a mat, and so on. But I've just made it work. I'm hand stitching the pieces together, and then I'm going to put the backing and batting, and I'm going to quilt it and bind it. And so today I just wanted to take you along as I sew this seam together. Okay. So I'm using a back stitch. Don't know if you can see it there, but that's a back stitch to sew the seams together, and I am trying to reinforce the corner here. I have nested the seams, and I do an extra stitch right here just to reinforce. And this is the basic stitch that you learn to stitch when you're just learning to sew. And in Jamaica, you learn to sew at home and you learn to sew at school. And so this is just a basic back stitch that I am doing across the length of this seam. I find hand sewing very relaxing. It's a time when I can de-stress. It's also an opportunity for me to process, my thoughts, come up with ideas, and so on. And so that's the whole reason I started quilting in the first place, was to be able to deal with some of the stresses that come with the work that I do and just our situation in general. So I like hand sewing. It's just a way for me to de-stress. And also when I'm visiting my friend that I sit with on a Saturday morning, I like to hand sew while I'm sitting with her as well, especially if she's asleep or not very talkative on a particular day. Then I sit with her and I sew. One of the things that I've spoken about in my New Year's video, my year in review video, was that I am now gluten-free, and as a way to deal with my health issues. So one of the things that I've had to do is find gluten-free products that I can eat safely, and that won't make me sick. And for Christmas, a very good friend of mine gave me some gluten-free snacks, sweet snacks, which I really liked, and I'd like to share them with you. So the first one is this Siete product, grain-free cookies called Mexican Wedding. And if you look down here, it says it's made with almond flour and coconut oil. It is gluten-free. It is very delicious, and I really like it. So down here, it says gluten-free, non-GMO, and so on. And I understand that the Siete brand is very popular. It has a number of products, and on the back of the package is the story of the family that created these products. So this is something, if you're gluten-free, or even if you're not gluten-free but you'd like to try a gluten-free snack, you can check this brand out. I really enjoyed it. Another one that I got from my friend is this one called Feastables, and it's Mr. Beast cookies, and this one is chocolate chip, plant-based, and gluten-free, and this one is delicious. And it says on the back, no GMO ingredients, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial flavorings, no hydrogenated oils. All right. This pack is empty, but this still has cookies in it. So I'm going to show you what one looks like. It's chocolate chip. This is what it looks like, and it is really good. Really good. So try these out if you like them. Let me know in the comments. If you have any other snacks that you can recommend, let me know. I'm still chewing, sorry about that. All right, the thread just came out of my needle. I used the threader that came in the packet from Walmart, and I'm just going to tie off right here, tighten this knot, make a little, basically just sew back and forth, and then I'm going to rethread. So again, I'm pushing the threader through the hole of the needle. Goodness, like that. Hope you can see that. And then I'm going to put the thread through the threader, and then I'm pulling the needle off, and there you have it. That's how you do it. And at the bottom of this threader is a little cutter, thread cutter. Yeah. And I'm going to knot the thread by wrapping it around my finger, rubbing it together, and then pulling. You get a little knot here at the end. And then I'm going to start with the last stitch that I stopped at to reinforce that stitch, and then carry on with the sewing. That chocolate chip cookie is really good. Okay, friends, I'm just going to continue sewing this seam to the end, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. I am not really trying too hard to get a 1/4 inch seam. I'm just trying to keep the seam consistent. So this quilt will not be like, it won't meet standards for some people, but it would have served its purpose. For me, the satisfaction of hand quilting a project, the satisfaction of doing it without the tools, and also the opportunity to de-stress and just relax and enjoy the quilting process. Well, friends, here is the finished section of the quilt. I've sewn the two pieces together. I'm going to continue adding to it until I'm satisfied with the size. And as always, thank you for joining me today. Be kind, walk good, more to come.